Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at jonnydelsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag JD49.
Welcome here, it's the Johnny Dell podcast. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Yes, that was superfan Tyler that I met at the game last night. Woo! We will get into everything from the game. Take a look at my eyeballs. Team No Sleep is real.
Team No Sleep is in the building.
Yes, and I'm fired up. As some of you know, I own a limo, party bus, limousine, trolley company, and I took our Sprinter van that holds about 12 to 15 comfortably. I say 18 people uncomfortably. My cousins and a few people went, and Fort Wayne, where I live, is about 3 hours with traffic to Indy. So after the game, obviously, keep in mind this is Eastern time. So we left close to midnight, got back close to 3 a.m. And that's just getting them back. Then I have to get home, clean the vehicle, that kind of thing. So I'm up early and not much sleep, but still riding high. We got plenty of fun video clips to get into. Just such I'll be honest, when you're at the game, you're not aware of stats and things because, first of all, internet, can we talk about internet when you're in stadiums? They don't pull up. So like my fantasy team, I didn't see that I had won my fantasy matchup until much later. I didn't see stats. So 5 touchdowns, we weren't counting. It was like in the fourth quarter, around when he finally threw an interception, when we were like, wait a minute, I'm running out of fingers here. How many does he have? It's things like that.
5 touchdowns. That is the most touchdowns by a 49ers quarterback since Steve Young in the Super Bowl when he threw for 6. And the previous time by that was Joe Montana in the Super Bowl with 5. I mean, that was an incredibly good game from Brock. What really cracked me up about this, and I wish I could have gone back to the live comments, because I did a show his stats on last Thursday. We were talking about pure progressions in Brock and how there's some pure progression, there's some coverage reads, there's some split field reads, there's some stretch reads. And so I said, basically, Brock, you can give him almost anything, and in the right situations, he knows how to operate in these sort of things. And this guy was going off in the live comments the whole show saying it was the Titans. Come on, guys, it's the Titans. He's doing this because it's the Titans. And throughout, and he did that for like the first 10 minutes. And then after that was, you're going to see against a good defense, against the Colts, it's going to get ugly for Brock. This is going to be a terrible game for Brock. Brock ain't going to do crap against the Colts. Yeah, like, this dude was going off in the chat, during the show. It was almost distracting because it was like him and Strawberry, who's normally in our shows too, were going back and forth the whole time.
Strawberry reacts.
In the chat, because this dude was just like, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it against the Colts, and he's like, in certain content creator I trust, that tends to always nag on Brock.
I saw it live.
And so like he was just going off on it. And I was like, I wish I could go screenshot everything you said, because you just saw one of the best games from a 49ers quarterback ever. When you look at the last 25 years of top 3 games from a 49ers quarterback, Brock Purdy has all of them. And that's just a fact. This is why he was paid what he was paid, and he's doing this without the Avengers. Like that was people are starting to run out of reasons why he's successful. They really are. I mean, because you want to sit here and go, okay, people will go, well, it was the Titans. Well, the Colts defense is absolute trash. And you go, he just did something that we haven't seen a 49ers quarterback do in 25 years. Are you telling me that over 25 years, there wasn't a single guy in that line that played against a really bad defense?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I said. Like, there's bad defenses all over the NFL every year.
Sam Darnold just went against that same defense at home without DeForest Buckner.
Yeah, and did not do
that. And what were after the Jacksonville game, there was, oh my Lord, the list of people saying I'd take Sam Darnold in a heartbeat over Brock.
Oh man,
that was wild.
Now, Johnny, I want to ask you, Cayman's Island. Well, first, let's get to a super chat. Before I get to Cayman's Island comment, from Germany. Regards from Germany, Adam. Bad news for you as punt fan. No punts for Niners in December. Best regard. That is so clever. From maybe someone where English isn't even their first language, possibly. I don't know. From Germany, I don't know. But that is excellent, and I am now obviously team no punt. From where I was sitting, I had a good look. Since none of you on TV could see Thomas Morstead, I saw him just fine on the sideline.
Yeah, he's been real quiet. I mean, now obviously a bye week helps, but by the time the 49ers play next, he will have not punted at minimum in 4 weeks. It will have been 28
Yeah, he's
days.
Gonna pull a hammy. He's gonna
because the last time he had a punt was November 30th, and the 49ers still didn't give the ball back to the other opposing team's offense because the punt was muffed. Like that was, they have not actually punted it away, and the other team taken an offensive snap in, I think it was earlier in that game against the Browns. I mean, this is wild. You're going on like 14 quarters without a punt. That's unheard of in the NFL. To go 4 weeks with your punter not doing anything but being a placeholder is kind of wild. Like, I guess they were right at the beginning of the season to, having cut the punter, not had a punter on the team for a week there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was a crazy offensive showing. They could not be stopped. The only blemish being right there at the end kind of gave us a little bit of a dyspepsia. But honestly, I went back and looked at the numbers this morning. I think I was a little too nervous for no cause, because the first 2 drives we were seeing like what seemed like Peyton Rivers out there, or I guess it would be Philip Manning. That looked like the old Peyton Manning show with the Colts, like with them being no huddle and him calling out the plays the whole time,
changing plays and
changing
moving guys
the plays.
around.
I heard one, and I knew I don't know a lot of the Colts' nomenclature, but I know a little bit from an NFL coach I talked to that I have access to some of his resources. I remember he called out 52 Maestro, and I was like, that's going to be a running back blocks to the left, and that's going to be a mesh concept. I remembered Maestro because that's Andy Reid's terminology for mesh, and Maestro, an M word for mesh, and then piano is the switch up on it. So a mesh is 2 crossing routes over the middle, and piano is they act like they're doing crossing routes, then they break out. So you have Maestro and piano that go together. And so I heard him call it Maestro, and I was like, he's going to run a mesh. He saw, man, he's running mesh, and they ran a mesh, and they got a first down.
It worked. Yeah, I remember.
But hearing him say that, like, I think we thought, oh man, this defense is absolute toast. Looking at everything. And then I think coming away from the game and then going over the numbers, I thought, I think that those first two drives really soured us on what the defense was in this game. And plus we have struggled with pressure on the quarterback, but Phillip Rivers was getting the ball out of his hands insanely fast those first 2 drives. If you look at as a defense, what are you preparing for if you're going to play the Colts with a 44-year-old quarterback who is playing in his second game in 5 years, who just joined the team? You're going to be preparing for Jonathan Taylor and them running the ball every single play.
And he was
that's what you're prepping for, right? You're not prepping for Phillip Rivers being in shotgun, running a no-huddle offense and passing 85% of the time.
35 times. He passed 35 times.
35 times total, but
yeah.
in just those first 2 drives, I think he had 15 passing attempts in just the first 2 drives. So to put it in perspective, he had 137 yards passing after the first 2 drives with 2 touchdowns. After that, for the next 6 drives, Phillip Rivers had 140 passing yards, no touchdowns, 1 sack, fumble, and an interception. So, the first 2 drives completely change our perception of how the defense played, because after that, the Colts did score 13 points, but they had 1 drive where literally the only major offensive play they had was a 16 or 14-yard pass play. That was it, because they got Eddie Pinheiro kicked the ball into the end zone. They got it at 35. They ended up getting a 15-yard unsportsmanlike on Diamador Lenore, which was kind of wild. The refs told Shanahan that, yeah, we saw he was punching at the ball, but he punched at it too late. Okay. Don't know, but those two plays got them into field goal range, and they kicked a 51-yard field goal. So, I mean, it was a 15-yard penalty and a 14-yard pass play. Outside of that, it was like 4 yards they got on everything else. I think they had 33 yards on the drive. And so, I'm looking at that going, it wasn't like our defense got decimated on that drive. Another one, we had the big pass interference call that wasn't pass interference on Darrell Luter, and they kicked a field goal. Like, those 2 penalties gave them 6 points. Outside of that, for the over 6 drives, they gave up 1 touchdown, really. That was it. So I think we were kind of a little more maligned against the defense than they actually played. I think they did play a little bit better than it seems. So I just wanted to point that out on there.
Given up. When you look up the yards given up and everything with Jonathan Taylor and just total yards for the game, yes.
I mean, when this is a run defense that we saw Tony Pollard run all over them for 6.3 yards per carry, 6.4 yards per carry, something like that. And then to hold Taylor to some of his lowest production on the year is really impressive. Now, a lot of that did have to do with the fact that the Colts were missing 3/5 of their offensive line in that game. And that really did affect a lot of the things they do in the run game. But clearly, it was like they were not ready. The 49ers offense was not ready for Phillip Rivers to come out and be slinging the ball from no huddle. I don't blame them at all for that. I see that, but that's really encouraging to see that they made the adjustment. They forced the turnover on special teams, and Brock Purdy was darn near perfect through those first 5-6 drives. I mean, absolutely perfect.
To the chagrin of a one Shady McCoy, as
Lisa. Yeah, he's like, I can't believe he had that kind of game on X. I'm like, bro, any of us who've watched him and actually watched the film, most of us are not that surprised, because this is who he's been. And yet Shady, like if Brock was 6'5" and had a bigger arm, everything that he'd done up to this game, people would say, this is who he is. This is who he's shown he is.
Right. He's Joe Burrow.
I mean, but the fact that he's 6'1",
and the
that
last pick
he
of the
doesn't
draft.
have that big arm, that he was the last pick in the draft, it does hang on him. And
that's fine.
It just becomes, it's like, okay, look, and when the 49ers pay him, they shouldn't have paid him. They shouldn't have paid him.
That's fine.
The fact is, the 49ers, since Brock's come back, are undefeated. And this is not, it really is not like he's got these all-stars out there. There is not a single receiver on our team that would be higher than third on the depth chart on like 90% of the NFL teams that are out there. That's just a fact. In 2023, it was, he's got all these playmakers and he's got his Avengers around him. Let's see Brock carry the team when he doesn't have his Avengers. And then we saw that last night, and there were still reasons. It was, it's just the Colts defense is so trash. It's like, you asked for this situation. George Kittle went down in that game. Like, there's just a point that it comes where you go, what more do you need to see? Like, we're 3 years in. This is not surprising many of us. And they say, well, he's got George Kittle. Patrick Mahomes has had Travis Kelce his entire career. So I don't want to hear that he's got George Kittle and that's a negative on him, and that Patrick Mahomes has done something that Brock Purdy doesn't have because Brock's had a great tight end. Patrick Mahomes has had Travis Kelce over there.
And
he's had some incredibly he's had some incredible playmakers. Now we've seen it, that the production seriously dropped off when you don't have weapons on the outside anymore. Because guess what? That happens with quarterbacks. There's not a single receiver on this team that would be higher than third on the depth chart on almost any team in the NFL. And he just threw for 5 touchdowns. He did exactly what everybody said. Do it when you don't have your Avengers. And he did. And people are still finding reasons to prove why they weren't wrong. That's what's wild.
No Ricky Pearsall. I mean, but want to show love to Lisa. She said Brock's haters last night tossed and turned, and that's why I mentioned, of course, Shady McCoy was one of them. Thanks for the super chat. Not surprising, the faithful, that Brock had a great day. Also, Cayman Islands, thank you for
the got them all start. I'm on top of it this morning.
Yeah. What do you think this offense would look like, man, with a true healthy top 10 wideout? Can you imagine Justin Jefferson? Yeah, and Joe Burrow and all this. I mean, sure, you can play Madden and go to franchise mode and do all that. It would look sick. It would look sick.
It's beyond frustrating whatever's happened with Brandon Aiyuk. I don't know. I mean, it got posted
driving 100 miles an hour past
going 100 miles an hour past Levi's Stadium. I don't know what's going on with that man.
Someone said BA just flipped to AB. I was like,
I mean, no. it really does start to feel like Antonio Brown going off the rails.
Yeah, man.
When you just straight up give up your guarantees. Apparently the 49ers gave him an opportunity to earn back those guarantees, and he just said nah.
Dude, this is
he's not returning any calls. He's not showing up to the facility. He's just MIA. And then he's posting weird cryptic
of his cars and
things out of his car that people are. I was sitting there, I'm like, is this some sort of lingo? I'm a millennial and I'm too old to understand.
Yes, you are. I know what it says in case you didn't know. Like,
I saw some translations.
Yes,
but there was no. But most people were like, I need to put this through AI to figure out what's going on. There's that. I mean, driving past the stadium at 100 miles an hour is a little wild. Like, why are you and you're posting about it? This is like, why are you even driving through that area and doing that? I don't know. This sounds like kind of Charles Haley, Antonio Brown kind of stuff, man. It's wild. So, I mean, because you think about it, of like what this team we would be talking Super Bowl if you have a healthy BA there, and you're looking at, Ricky coming back here and having those two pairings with what this offense has done, you're starting to say this becomes one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL, that we are really looking at a Super Bowl caliber offense. And especially in this NFL landscape right now, when there's not going to be any Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, there's not going to be a Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, there's not going to be a Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
Goff probably won't.
Jared Goff isn't going to be in the. I'm not too worried about him in the playoffs. I mean,
Jaden Daniels.
I mean, there's no Jaden Daniels in the playoffs. You're looking at this around the league, and you go, there's a lot. It's a lot of younger guns right now that are in there, and then Matt Stafford. So I mean, this is awesome.
Speaking of quarterbacks that are in it, my cousins and I were talking about this at the game last night. Let's re-examine our losses this year. We lost to Trevor Lawrence, who all of a sudden that loss looks really good.
Because they went and beat the Broncos in Denver.
Look at who we've lost to. The worst loss on our schedule is Tampa Bay. And at the time, that was absolutely not a bad loss. And hey, the Buccaneers still, and I think they will still win their division.
I don't think they will.
They'll be above 500. I think they'll beat the Panthers. They'll beat the Panthers in the last week.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the Panthers have been surging ever since we took them behind the woodshed.
They've been winning, since
that's what it is,
and we're rooting for them this week.
I mean, Josh Allen, I think, is the scariest quarterback in there, but he's got to make it through those defenses in the AFC. I mean, I don't see him making it through. Past Denver
the NFC's winning. The NFC's winning the Super Bowl, I think.
Maybe we'll see. But I mean, I don't see Josh Allen making it past with that offense and how bad their you want to talk about a defense that's played bad, is go watch the Bills defense. Because they're not making it past Houston. Like the way things went.
Houston, okay, another loss of ours, which looks incredible right now.
Right, because that was and leading up to that show, I did a preview with Houston Stressens, and I told him in that I said that Texans team reminds me of the 3-5 49ers, because they were 3-5 at the time when in 2021, when the 49ers were 3-5, they had an incredible defense, that they were a team that just had an offense that looked so bad the first 2 months of the year, and then they got hot in November and they went on an absolute roll and were a dropped Jaworski Tart interception away from going to the Super Bowl that year. That's what these Texans remind me of, and they really have been. I think they should be the favorites. Like Jackson, it's wild that Jacksonville, with what they're doing, is still chasing. I think they're chasing Houston right now, or Houston. It's neck and neck there. But the Colts are going to miss the playoffs with this. Like, they had a 98% chance of making the playoffs, and now they have like a 5% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll be under 7-1. They'll be 8-9. They will be 8-9.
And I've been saying that for like 2 weeks, because everybody was looking at the Indy game and going, that Indy game's scary. That Indy game's scary. And I was like, I really like our chances.
It kind of
was. It was there, but even up until like
Daniel
our preview
Jones.
episode, I said that they started out 7-1. They were now 8-5. That they had been really trailing, and now they were going to go 8-6, and that they were going to go 8-7 with us, and they have a real chance to go 8-9, finish 8-9. To start out 7-1 and end the year 8-9 is brutal. After making the trade for Sauce Gardner. Making the trade for Sauce Gardner.
And he's hurt and wasn't out there. No Mooney Ward. It was rough.
You look at the teams that made the biggest splashes off of the Jets at the trade deadline, and you go, this is why that can be dangerous, because the Colts did that. They lost Daniel Jones. They will miss the playoffs, and they gave up 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. Now, Sauce Gardner's great.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to pay him a huge amount of money. They've got to figure out how they're going to be paying Daniel Jones and what they do with that, with his Achilles. They got Anthony Richardson sitting there with this weird kind of situation.
Yep.
DeForest Buckner's not getting any younger. And we saw that their defense is not up to par, that Brock Purdy just shredded them with no receivers, absolutely shredded them.
Hot
And
night
they
peanut
don't have
butter.
a first-round pick until 2028. So that's why you have to be careful.
And you got the Texans and Jags in your division.
I mean, and you got those two teams in your division. You see the Cowboys went and made that huge splash. They're missing the playoffs. You go, okay. I mean, this. I'm wondering. I really do wonder. Do the Colts call about Mac Jones? I don't know. I think they really do like
Plenty
Daniel
of
Jones.
The Raiders. Do the Raiders?
I mean, this is wild.
Anyways, a lot of teams might. More super chats, Johnny.
Yeah.
Cornelius Merritt. What up, man? How can Purdy not be a top 5 quarterback? He's dicing defenses the same way top 5 quarterbacks of the bygone eras were doing. Does anyone appreciate high IQ anymore? They don't know it when they see it. They don't know it when they see it.
Well, the thing is, a lot of times people haven't understood that anyways, high IQ quarterback play. Like, it just generally hasn't been appreciated as much. I mean, you can go back to the 80s, and while Joe Montana was winning Super Bowls, people were still talking about Dan Marino was the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, and going into that 84 Super Bowl, it was Dan Marino is the quarterback of the future.
Well, his numbers,
Joe Montana
his numbers
had a little bit of time. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying it's that has been a thing for a very long time.
Clayton and Duper.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Kelly was the quarterback of the early 90s, and it was like him and Brett Favre and Steve Young. You know, if you remember, like there was the thing, those guys were overshadowing Steve Young because they were a little bit bigger guys. They had big arms. Steve Young, though, had wheels that those guys did not have.
But he had a monkey on his
bigger
back
arms
that he needed Gary Plummer to take off. So that was
right. Always need you. That hampers your throwing motion. But that was a big thing, is that he didn't have the big arm that Favre did, that Kelly did, and he couldn't win the big game. And so, like, it was that. And then all of a sudden, everybody's looking back on it saying, oh, he was one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever watched play the game. You go back to Tom Brady. For 10 years, people were still making excuses of why Tom wasn't really that great, that he had a great head coach, he had a great defense, he had a great running game, and it was making excuses of why he was having success for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, everybody turned around and Tom has 7 Super Bowl rings. And he's been to 10 Super Bowls. And you go, okay. Wow. And he's been to 20 conference championship games, and everybody says, okay, maybe there was something to this Brady kid. Maybe there, but I mean, during that time, like, was Tom Brady was not on the cover of Madden as quarterbacks. You saw guys like
he was one time.
I think he was on the 25th with Patrick Mahomes. It was when he was with the Buccaneers. It was him and Patrick Mahomes. But during that time, we saw Michael Vick on the cover. We saw kid from the Tennessee Titans.
Jake Locker?
No.
Eddie George?
No.
He was.
Quarterback.
Eddie George was. Steve McNair.
Yes, McNair. McNair was on the cover.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, McNair. McNair was on the cover. You had McNabb was on the cover during that time. You go back to all those different years, and there's different quarterbacks that have been on the cover because they were the hot product of quarterbacks at the time. These were the guys that were always on the cover, and it took Tom Brady until he was with the Buccaneers to be on the cover. Like, because people were always making excuses of why it is, because unless you are working through the film and seeing what these guys are doing, we generally don't appreciate. We appreciate when there's a laser down the middle. Like, it's just like Caleb Williams. You watch their game against Green Bay, he was throwing some lasers down the middle of the field, and that looks really cool on TV.
Like,
it just does. You're just
lasers.
It's a laser. But he's throwing some darts down the middle of the field, and and people just go, wow, that looks so impressive. Brock Purdy, that should have been a touchdown to Jake Tonjes. If that's Caleb Williams, making that play, everybody is posting that 50 100 times on social media, talking about this is why they went and spent the first round pick for him, because he can do things like this, and these are plays that very few quarterbacks can make. It was Vince Young. Yeah, it was Vince Young that was on the cover of.
I knew it was number 10, and Jake Locker also was number 10, but Jake Locker was a joke.
Well, yeah, so. I mean, but like you just look at these things and you say, no, people don't appreciate what they sit there and go, oh, these guys are wide open. They don't understand that on that post route that he threw for the first touchdown in the game, that Indy's playing split field coverage. They're playing man on the backside. They're doing a 5-over-3 zone on the other side, and he's looking off the half safety over there, throwing at the right point, because it was a Skinner route, so it gives a little shake at the top of the post, throwing it in. That when he's throwing to McCaffrey on the outlet, that's his third read in the progression. That they aren't appreciating all these different things. It's like some of those third down throws to Jake Tonjes on the sideline. This is not like he's sitting here making throws to Randy Moss's jump balls down the left sideline, or Calvin Johnson, who was targeted like 240 times by Matthew Stafford in a season. And literally he targeted Calvin Johnson like 240 times. Dude had over 2,000 yards in a season. It's just unreal. But like it's not like that's happening. But generally, they don't appreciate quarterbacks who it doesn't look like something that it doesn't look like your average college quarterback as far as arm strength. I mean, because that's the deal. Like when you see the ball traveling through the air, it's not like you're sitting there saying, wow, there's very few human beings who can throw a pass like that. But it's it's really interesting. If you go back or if you can see it, there was an interview that it was it Fred Warner and Vernon Davis? No, it was Jerry Rice and Vernon Davis. They were doing a show together, and Vernon was talking about the difference between playing with Alex Smith and playing with Colin Kaepernick. And he was like, he was talking about a stick route, right? It's a 5 to 6 yard out route that we run all the time. It's been in the NFL forever. But he's like, you run that stick, and so you're getting there at 5-6 yards on that out. And he's like, you want to turn around and you want that ball to just be right there, nice and gently. You can just kind of pluck it out of the air and then turn up and go. He's like, Alex was so good at that. Like he goes, you turn around and that ball be nice and gentle right there out in front of you. Yeah. And you grab it. He said, then Colin came in and he said, you turn around, and he goes, it'd about take your thumb off because that ball is coming through. He said, it was wild seeing that he goes, like, what didn't matter. He goes, you're only 10 yards away from him and he's throwing at 80 miles an hour. He's like, it was, about take your hands off, because that sucker would hit you so hard, because that was the only throw he had in there. It was just, he rocketed in there every time. And you go, that's a part that isn't appreciated in there, because Bill Walsh hampered on this over and over and over again in his talks about quarterback play. He said, it is far more important that a quarterback throw a catchable ball than just a really strong arm throw. That he must throw a catchable ball. And I think back to some of the drops we've seen. You look at quarterbacks who tend to have a lot of drops right now, like Jordan Love has a lot of drops. Dude rockets it in there on a lot of throws. Caleb Williams has a lot of drops because he rockets it in there with every throw. You see that with a number of these guys, that they got that fastball, and it looks really cool when it's on a 20-yard dig, but you're going to get those drops at 8 yards on 8-yard passes. And you see here, this is operating the quarterback position at an extremely high level, and it's really fun to watch.
Let's put a bow on Brandon Aiyuk, because Lisa checks in on 95.7. I heard this as well. BA never hit his health goals that the 49ers set.
Well, I think what it was is that he never came to check in for his health goals. That was the problem, is that they put health goals there. He told them he as far as I understand, he told them that he made them. They said we like for example, one thing that he was asked to do, and this is everybody's asked to do this that has been injured and rehabbing away from the team, that when you show up to training camp, you show up 4 days early because the medical teams want to put you through those and see where you're at as far as your markers and your goals. When no one else is there, because they got to check in 90 guys in 2 days. That's 45 guys a day. If you look at it at 8 hours, that's a guy every like 15 minutes that's coming in through the health team. So they want to check out the guys that have been rehabbing and have been long-term injured before everyone else gets there. They want one-on-one time for at least an hour or two with these guys to check in. So you show up early. Yeah, you're probably going to be sitting in a conference room for a while waiting your turn. Oh, well. BA didn't show up early. He showed up at the time that everybody else was checking in. And he's like, well, I'm at my goals. And that was part of what went into him losing his guarantees on this, is that he hadn't checked in, hadn't shown up on time, wasn't at the meetings. And as far as, I would not be surprised if they were checking his iPad usage, because they can track that. They can see how much have you actually used your iPad, which is going to be watching the installs and everything, and that he probably wasn't on it hardly at all. So they're seeing that he's not on that. There's very little communication. And then we saw him with that during training camp. Like, he's out there kind of running routes and stuff. And it was weird. It was like it was right in front of the camera. There's a weird thing going on, and then sort of in and out. And then he's been gone for a month. And so that's kind of what's been going on into that situation. Yeah, I mean, you do wonder what could have been. And what's really crazy is that like, he's got no trade value for the 49ers now. I mean, because he's a reclamation project. And so you have to have a team that figures out, is he even worth the risk having into the building with what he did over there? You're looking at, I just kind of think of like a Tom Brady bringing Antonio Brown in sort of situation of where you have a very veteran quarterback. I mean, as crazy as it might sound, you almost could see the Rams trying to bring him in at a low cost thing with Stafford there. Don't know, but I mean, it's just wild because, and you wonder if he would want to do that just to kind of shove it in the face of the 49ers. I don't know, but yeah, it's just wild.
Weird how it worked out. If you are new to the channel, I know there is a ton of you with us live right now, and so I want to point out, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe so that you're notified when we go live. Also, if you are new to the channel, you may not know, which is wild to me, that you may not know that Johnny does amazing videos where he puts the hows and whys literally on the screen. So you want to be notified when he drops those videos as well. Let's get back to the game. Are you able to show, some of the chat was asking me earlier about crowd noise of the game, and I wanted to explain a situation, maybe work backwards towards the end of the game. Do you have the D Winters video?
And I have it ready to go in here.
Okay,
so I'm just going to warn everybody, I don't know how loud it's going to be, so you may want to turn the volume down.
or they might want to celebrate again.
I'm just saying. I just don't want people to be like, you're gonna break my phone.
It's jarring.
Speakers. Yeah. So I'm gonna give a countdown on this. It's 3, 2, 1.
So you could kind of see, let us know in the chat like how loud that was. To me, on my end with the headphones and everything, it was fantastic. And reliving that moment. Here's what happened for that play. I was talking to Colts fans about their frustration. Honestly, there were two really funny guys that were talking to me that were kind of in the heckling phase in the first 18 seconds of the game, and then it went pretty, dim for them. And but they were good guys, and we were talking about fantasy football. They were talking about just what the Colts have gone from 7-1 to now. And I was talking, and all of a sudden the pick happens, and I am watching the game, but I was filming a lot and then hitting stop if it wasn't a play worth noting. So I have a bunch of stuff on my phone, and all of a sudden the pick happens, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, let me get this, and again, because it's right on, you see where my seats were. We didn't move up, we didn't move around. Those were my seats. So uh for D to come into my kitchen like that was just awesome. And then the crowd reaction, all of those fans, I will tell you, at that point had not moved up. That was legitimate, like, Niner fans. And it was kind of a Niner takeover. I will say there were more Colts fans than what I thought. I thought it'd be even more of a takeover. However, it's Monday Night Football. It's December with no school, so kids can come out. No, not one kid is in school right now. So I so it's like, okay, and Indy doesn't have Monday Night Football a lot, and so it was just exciting. It was electric. The
Well,
other
I will
video,
say those kids were taken to school. They were taken to the quarterback school last night.
yeah, indeed. The other
Not
video,
JT O'Sullivan.
the
I
angle that
love
I
JT
have,
though.
yes. The other angle that was perfect and was just like, oy vey, was the Panero kick. And I think we
The
have that as
doink.
well. Dude, it was such a cool angle.
I gotta show it here.
Man,
So I loaded some of them up into the player, and then some of them were a little, the size wasn't quite right on this. So let me
sure.
see. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Man, dude. A game of
I
inches.
told Adam I was shocked that you didn't hear the doink because it was so loud on the broadcast. I mean, it was insanely loud on the broadcast. The doom.
Hey, Tyler's in the chat. Dude, Tyler, what up, man?
Hey, there we
Who's that
go.
cool
There's
Tyler guy? He
Tyler.
said,
Yeah.
glad you're in live with us, man. What a game, dude.
It's good to see Strawberries in here. Strawberry, I don't know if you were in at the beginning of the show. I mentioned I wish the dude who you were arguing with in the chat of the Gold Standard podcast on Thursday that I could get all the screenshots of everything he said, because I would love to roast that dude. Yes, I'm going to take a victory lap on that one.
Yeah, I don't think Strawberry was in the chat like right away.
Oh.
I don't believe, but thanks for hanging, Tyler. Make sure you hit subscribe and check out Johnny's videos. I know you may be a new follower. It was awesome to be a part of the faithful and just talk to a lot of fans. How about, Johnny, do you have CJ West?
Hit CJ West sack. CJ West, the
Back in
CJ West
Indiana.
crowd is so excited. Y'all know we did some videos on CJ when they drafted him. I love me some CJ West. Here we go. Here's CJ West with a sack.
What's Carly Ursa wearing?
Let's go.
And you see all
Let's
the
go.
Yep.
Let's go, CJ. Telling you that
Great
defense,
seats.
they really did adjust well after those first two drives. I mean, again, if I'm Robert Saleh, I am not going into that game thinking they're going to have Phillip Rivers line up in shotgun and dictate the offense at the line of scrimmage like that. That's just, I mean, I do not blame him for that. But after they made the adjustment, they were averaging something like 25 yards a drive after those first two drives. The Colts were. So defense tightened up. They really did. They played a lot more man covers. They did well. And they moved it. And Brock was just on the money. Just touchdowns left and right. 2 touchdowns to McCaffrey. George Kittle got in there. Then you had Juwan Jennings got a tutty. I don't even remember where the 5th one went. But anyways, it was great.
So one thing that
Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson,
that
was one.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, Cayman's Island had mentioned earlier, you talk about Shanahan, and we talked about just the job that he's done, and obviously this was also a great showcase. But haters of Brock Purdy will say, well, it's coaching. And then people that are like, well, Kyle Shanahan, he's always had good players. Like, it's like such circle arguing. I don't.
Right. There becomes these circular arguments where it's like, well, almost chicken and egg. It's like, well, Shanahan's a great coach because he has great players. And you say, well, yeah, these players are really great. No, they're only great because they have a great coach.
Right, like Mac Jones wasn't considered all that great, and he saved our season. He legit has saved our season. Let's take some time and talk about that. I talked to a lot of Niner fans and we started talking about that. Like, can you imagine if Mac Jones did not do the thing? I mean, just the Rams game alone, guys, let alone the other games he won.
Yeah.
But,
it could end up being absolutely huge because that could be the difference between.
I think it is. I think it will be.
It's wild to think that the 49ers are 2 games away from the number 1 seed and a bye
in the entire
in the
NFC,
playoffs, where they are 1 home game away from the conference championship game this season, and they are opening as favorites over the Bears right now
by 3. I think, yes, I saw that. And here's what's weird: if we just keep playing until there's no more football, we only have home games left. That's crazy, including February. Just amazing. Johnny, what else stood out to you? Was there anything that jumped out to you regarding the game, offensively, defensively, clock management, running the ball, stopping them running the ball? Like, did anything in particular jump out? I'm curious because, again, watching the game live is so different than on TV. It's not something I get to do all the time, and so that's why I'm curious.
Yeah, so I'll address this real quick. Yeah, that is true. That Demarcus Robinson's touchdown catch against the Colts was the only other touchdown that, besides Juwan Jennings, that a wide receiver has caught this year. Again, that should tell you the state of the 49ers offense and again, what Brock Purdy did last night and has done with this receiving core. He's got what? It's 8, 11, 12 touchdown passes over his last 4 games. I mean, that's wild. That he's done that with only Juwan Jennings and then 1 touchdown to Demarcus Robinson coming with to wide receivers. Because Demarcus Robinson has 1 touchdown. After that, it's Kyle Juszczyk with 1, Luke Farrell with 2, Jake Tonjes with 4.
Yeah.
George Kittle with 7, Christian McCaffrey with 7, Juwan Jennings with 8. What that also tells you, I mean, honestly, looking at that, what that tells me is that in the red zone, we're not creating a lot of separation, so we're throwing it to big catch radius guys. That's because, I mean, you have 13 touchdowns to tight ends.
So
in that picture, and then 8 to Juwan Jennings. So like these are all really big length guys. So you're struggling creating separation. No, Pearsall did not get a touchdown pass this year. He's got 0, and he's getting yards when he's out there. In 8 games, he's got 244 or 443 yards. So
wait, Juwan Jennings has 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Not realize he's leading the team in touchdown catches. He's got 8. Then it's Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle both with 7. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wild.
Well,
I will say that the thing that has started to stick out to me is you look at the last 4 weeks. One thing that we're also seeing is that since Connor Colby has left the lineup, and you've gotten Brock back, that the offensive line is looking remarkably better than they were the first 8 games of the year.
I thought
And
Brendel
I
played
talked about this.
well. I thought Brendel
Jake
played
Brendel
well.
played pretty well, and I may sneeze here, so I may have to hit the button. But they we're much maligned against the 49ers offensive line. Like 49ers fans love to hate on our offensive line and love to look at everybody else's offensive lines and say, we need an offensive line like that. I will say that Colts defense was in the top 3 as far as run defenses in the league, and Christian McCaffrey went for 120 yards and over 5 yards a carry. Like that's impressive. Yeah. And it wasn't like they were missing their entire front 7, and they ran really well. A lot of that was, 1, the efficiency of Brock Purdy, and 2, the offensive line was making some holes. And Christian McCaffrey had his longest run of the year, 24 yards last night. So, like, it really what is starting to happen is, and this is crazy to think about, that this is the first time you've had a starting caliber across the board on the offensive line that has played together for more than 2 games. Because and I told everybody for weeks that Connor Colby in there was a reason he was a 7th round pick, that he was doing well for a 7th rounder shoved in there in his rookie year at that point in the year. But that I was like, I'm seeing tons of blown blocks in the run game. I'm seeing he's a liability in the pass game. They were having to have Trent Williams help with him a lot of times. George Kittle wasn't in there. We're going to see, he's probably going to be day to day. It looked like an ankle sprain, but it wasn't a high ankle sprain. So that's good. But you look at the offensive line and you go, okay, they had Colby in there, and then Hennessy had to get in there for a few games. And then, so there have been a lot of moving pieces in and out. Barch in there, and then he's out, then he's back in, and now Spencer Burford's in there. That this offensive line is really the first time they've had consistency all season, and they are looking like a top 10 unit in the league. I mean, they really are. Like, that's wild to think about, because we love to hate Jake Brendel and see Jake Brendel out there, and we think no offensive line with Jake Brendel on it and Colt McKivitz on it could be a top 10 unit in the league. Colt McKivitz is having a really good season. He's had a phenomenal season. And Jake Brendel has, when there's some pieces next to him that can play, I told everybody last year, Aaron Banks was the biggest weakness on the team. That left guard spot has been a problem for a while. Spencer Burford's come in, as crazy as that sounds, with how much of what we think about Spencer after the Super Bowl, that Spencer has played really well at left guard. And that's his natural spot. He was a left tackle when he was in college, playing on the left side. The footwork, everything just feels more natural to him. So, like, we're starting to see that, and it's coming at the right time of the year, because you're going to go play a Bears team that is really good at running the ball, but they have weaknesses on the defensive side, and you've got to be able to run the ball against them and get your defense off the field. So this team is peaking at the right time. That's what I like to see about this. They have not peaked yet. That's what's wild about seeing this, is that they've been winning, they've been doing things, but they are still ascending, and they are, if they can keep taking more steps as they go, they could be, if you want to see them peak over these next 2 weeks. And that is a team that I don't think anybody in the NFL really, really actually does want to play.
Yeah.
Banks has been doing, been pretty bad in Green. The fans in Green Bay have been bagging on Aaron Banks most of the season.
He's overpaid. That's fine. And hey, we wish him well.
So like, I was saying it for a while, and it was interesting. Dieter Kurtenbach went on a show on the Gold Standard podcast, and he was talking to Rob, and they were talking about that left guard spot, because at the time Dieter was like, we really like Ben Barch, and Ben Barch, as far as product on the field when he's out there, is a great left guard. Problem is that what we've seen, he cannot stay on the field. But that he's sitting there. He said, he had talked to some front office personnel people and coaches from other teams that the 49ers had played. And he'd say, if you're trying to attack this 49ers offense, where's a weakness? Where do you go after? He said, to a man, they all said, oh, Aaron Banks. You attack Aaron Banks. And that there was a big surprise around the league when Aaron Banks got the contract he did. That they were just like, that everyone was like, wow, Green Bay must have been in a bidding war with somebody over Aaron Banks because he was way overpaid. And he was like, I'm just like last year, Aaron Banks, he couldn't keep his weight down. It was bad at left guard. It really was bad. That Spencer Burford looks like a massive improvement over Aaron Banks last year.
Yeah. I want to.
Yes, I did. That looked just like the hit in the NFC Championship game. I was like,
yeah.
Same kind of play too. Literally exact same kind of play. I'm like, let's stop doing that now.
Oh man, I am just overwhelmed with tiredness, excitedness, just everything for the Bears game. I know, Johnny, you don't understand how many Bears fans I know and have great relationships with. I have coached their kids. I've coached their kids. I have house sat for their, in their homes. Like I go to church with them. Like just I know so many, and it's going to be so fun to watch Sunday night. We already have the bar that we're going to. Like I'm so pumped. I'm excited for hopefully things go normal. We'll have our show. Well, that's the day after Christmas. Do you think I'll be okay to go?
I got to talk to the wifey. That's a day before we're going to be leaving for a little vacation.
Okay.
So
let me know. I'll be down.
Just kind of looking ahead to this Bears game. I think we're all, concerned, rightfully so, about their run game. Because that run game it's number 4 in the league in rushing efficiency. But I will say we just went against the number 1 rushing efficiency team in the league and absolutely held them. So now Caleb Williams is a different monster than Phillip Rivers. I mean, it's very different quarterback style. But when you look at this Bears team, just understand that Bears defense has a bigger challenge than our defense. The 49ers average 26.1 points per game. We're top 10 in the league. We're 9th in the league. Number 10th in the league is Chicago Bears at 25.8 points per game. The big difference, though, is that you look at point differential. The 49ers have a plus 72 point differential. Bears plus 33. So we've scored almost 40 more points than our opponents over the course of the season. The Bears have won a lot of close games. They're 7-2 in close games. That's a big part of their success this year. That and they take the ball away and they don't give the ball up. That's been a lot of that run game, is that they're protecting the ball. They are the number 1 team in turnover differential. They're plus 21. So this game is really going to come down to the turnovers. Kind of like last night did. That the Colts had 2, we had 1. That's the kind of game you play. You win the turnover battle against the Bears. I think you win that game.
Caleb gives you opportunities, gives you turnover chances for sure. He is impressing me for sure. I've seen a lot of Bears games, and Ben Johnson, you cannot say enough of what he's done, but he gives you opportunities to give us the ball. And we're at home. Again, we do not play another game on the road until 2026 of like August. We do not play on the road at all.
Well, if you get the number 1 seed.
If we just keep winning.
If you win the next 2 games, I mean, the 49ers do not travel the rest of the season. So,
which is
because their next 2 games are at home. It's time for the faithful to really transform Levi's into one of the loudest stadiums in the league. Make this a strong home field advantage.
We can do it. And breaking news.
For the taking.
I do have breaking news that a one Dawn Dell has said that she will allow her husband to maybe do a short show on Friday.
Is that in the chat?
It is.
Oh, she said,
okay.
Well, maybe I will let him do a short
maybe
show.
I will, and maybe I
but
won't.
Yes, vacate time, bros. Yes. She's been a little under the weather, so that's a big deal. For letting me out of the house for a few minutes. So we appreciate it. The super chats
I will say,
and thank you for all the super chats today. Y'all been fantastic, been amazing. help support the show and the channel. I'm
will
excited,
make a
Adam.
plea.
Like, I'm excited.
I will make a plea to Dawn. Just understand, when the show goes long, it is 100% not my fault. Your husband he has the gift of gab, which works well for a podcast.
Well, and one of my daughters is named Gabby, so there you go.
It just doesn't work as well when you have to go play husband and go play Papa. So shout out to Big Papa checking in. We should promote noise at the stadium starting when the opposing center puts his hand on a ball.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Pump it in.
Yeah. And people need to have a good strategy, be in the trenches for the noise game. Like, you don't just yell the whole time. Like, during the TV timeouts, you don't yell. You're going to lose your voice. It's not going to be as effective. Let them do their talking. Hey, this guy needs to talk. You can let him say that stuff. It's when you were hearing Phillip Rivers using a lot of, I was getting so irritated. He's like, he knew that he was sliding to the left, and then we'd bring pressure off the left. I was like, dadgummit. He saw it and he caught it. I say if they allow it in there, people need to be bringing in the little Bluetooth speakers as well. Noise, and
you got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up.
Just say
you got to pump it up.
You get loud noise in there because you win, and that game is off the chain.
Yep.
Amazing. I'm not sold. I'm not sold that Seattle is going to beat Carolina.
Yeah.
Carolina is scratching and clawing lives. So
yeah, it'll be fun to see. Stay tuned. We got to get out of here right at the perfect time because Johnny's internet is
internet
breaking up. Yeah. And now people are wondering, is this on purpose? Is it part of the end of the show where
that doesn't make I'm on a hard line fiber optic connection.
And actually now it's good.
I'm actually on a dual line. So my computer has both the Ethernet Cat 6E and Wi-Fi.
Mike B says Johnny yapping so much the internet can't keep up. It's fixed now. It's fixed now. And let's do this. Johnny, will you let's get everyone out of here on this. Let's show one last video, that says with the crowd reaction, the CMC
scores with I tried to put this one in the load, and it was was file size too large for that. So here we go. We're gonna send this out. Let's just give a shout out to that hat. That is an all-star level hat. I mean, wearing that next to a Colts fan is a statement. I mean, that's like the old wrestling signs. People would hold up the wrestling signs and nobody behind them could see, but we loved it on TV. 100%. I mean, I love that hat. That's
showing all the Niner fans.
There you go. Little sift here. Jump pass from Brock. Let's go. Whee! Let's go.
And the reaction of everybody. Look at all that red.
Oh, sad.
Look at Colts fans. Look at
sad Colts fans.
Sad Colts fans. Oh, man. Yes. Bang, bang. So, again, be sure to hit the notification bell. Be sure to follow the Johnny Football Academy for all of his videos. Check out also, if you are new to this channel, check out my other channel, Sports Edit Nation. We go every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Wait, sick. I gotta respond to Quiffle here. He's taking shots at Alabama. Look,
man.
Okay, so I have to explain a little bit here. One, I'm at my work office, so I don't have the same service plan here at the work office we have as I have back home at my house. At my house, I pay $80 a month and I get a 1 gig fiber optic connection. So y'all can bag on Alabama. We did an initiative in Alabama that was called Freedom Fiber that ended up trying to get high-speed fiber optic internet to most rural areas, which there's a lot of rural areas in Alabama. But my download speeds average 850 megs a second, and same with my upload speeds. I'm like, it's wild. Like $79.99 a month is all I pay, and I get a 1 gig thing, so y'all can bag on Alabama, but that's what I got here. When I download the game film, it's usually like a 2 to 3 gigabyte file. It takes me 2 minutes. So
he's just saying, guys. So
just saying.
Step off.
Filthy Casual. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
for the
man.
super chat.
Love it. So again, please, guys, remember, take your phone. All the new people like Tyler, bro, take your phone and show Niner fans this channel the way that I did with you. You are living proof. So thanks for hanging out with us. But take your phone, show people the channel, and stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, bang, bang, go Niners.